Good afternoon. This is Alan coming from my beautiful office in Vancouver. Today I want to address a trend that is going around on social media, TikTok, Instagram, where someone is saying with some authority that you must not take glutathione because of the glutamine content and instead substitute N-acetylcysteine or NAC. First of all, let's talk about glutamine. Glutamine is an essential amino acid in food. The average person, so a child would eat 5 grams of glutamine a day just eating food. It doesn't matter if it's vegetables, meat, dairy, whatever it is, glutamine is in pretty much every food. An adult eats approximately 10 grams of glutamine a day. And in Japan, where they use glutamine for intestinal challenges, they give even more glutamine to people. Now, sometimes when people are glutamine sensitive, they'll also give GABA to reduce the impact, the excitatory impact of glutamine in the brain. But let's talk about N-acetylcysteine for a moment and why I would not substitute N-acetylcysteine for a proper glutathione precursor product. In other words, a product that contains glutamine cysteine, not cysteine, cysteine, and glycine and some trigger mechanism to make that, enable your body to make glutathione. So the cysteine in N-acetylcysteine has essentially 4 sources. Now it can be made chemically, but most of the N-acetylcysteine comes from countries who do not have regulations like we have in the United States and Canada, and they can use the following 4 sources for their cysteine. And keep in mind, cysteine is a different product, and that's what glutathione precursor products use, is cysteine, not cysteine. Cysteine can come from chicken feathers, human hair, biological waste products, including blood, or sewage. So in the countries that are harvesting amino acids from those sources, they can harvest the cysteine from that. Cysteine doesn't exist in those sources. They can harvest the cysteine from that. Then they put it through this huge chemical process to make N-acetylcysteine. It is hardly a natural product. It isn't a natural product even at all, because it goes through so much chemical processing to actually make the product. So in Canada and the United States, we have to actually identify the source of every ingredient we put into a product. So if it is a Chinese or Taiwanese or some Asian country where they don't regulate the amino acid sourcing, then the chances are you're going to get cysteine from one of the sources I mentioned. Now, N-acetylcysteine, once again, it is effective in the liver, does not cross the blood-brain barrier very well unless you take it in extremely high doses, which can also cause something called amyloidosis, or the accumulation of excess protein in your brain. So I don't use N-acetylcysteine. I don't recommend N-acetylcysteine to people because the precursor amino acids, which contain cysteine, not cysteine, cysteine, glutamine, and glycine, are much safer. They've been used since 1976, both in research and in human clinical trials, and they're very safe. So for those of you who are being asked the question, should I change, or be listening to somebody saying use N-acetylcysteine over a glutathione precursor product, that is completely incorrect. If you're listening to somebody who's saying use N-acetylcysteine over glutathione, well, glutathione itself isn't very efficient or effective, not much more than N-acetylcysteine. So hopefully this information is somewhat useful to you and will help you make a proper decision in using a glutathione precursor product for what you're trying to accomplish in the optimization of glutathione. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.